Boris Johnson could sign an Africa-style free trade agreement (FTA) with the EU, a trade expert has claimed. On Monday, Michael Gove announced that Britain will produce a draft FTA before the next round of negotiations with the EU. In a statement to Parliament, the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster said the document will be among a number of legal texts the UK plans to publish before talks resume. The UK's Brexit negotiator David Frost echoed the message, tweeting, "We will table legal texts including a draft FTA before round 2 next week." The EU is also set to present a draft proposal, covering areas such as security, foreign policy and fisheries. The two sides were expected to compare the two texts next week in Whitehall offices in London, but the negotiations have now been replaced with discussions via video conference. The cancellation puts additional pressure on the Prime Minister, whose blueprint is a sign the government may be readying a take-it-or-leave-it offer to the bloc, a strategy which, according to trade experts, is not only unusual but could also be detrimental. On Tuesday, former Australian trade negotiator Dmitry Grozubinski wrote on Twitter, "If Britain does go public or if the draft leaks, it means whatever final deal is reached with the EU, the UK negotiators will have to explain not only any divergence from the high-level negotiating mandate, but also literally every word of divergence from this draft FTA text." The EU is often said to have successfully weaponized transparency against the UK in Brexit Phase 1, so this may be an attempt to double down, and the UK strategy could be nailing its trousers to the mast in as many ways as possible to present the EU with a take-it-or-leave-it deal, while furiously signalling the UK can live with either. It's a risky approach, and one that leaves little room for actual negotiation. Trade and custom expert Dr. Anna Dzerzewska noted that the negotiations could now play out in 3 different ways, but revealed the signing of an Africa-style FTA appears the most plausible option. She tweeted, "The first option is that 4 years of government's listening mode worked and all the meetings and consultations allowed the government to have a clear picture of what the UK industry needs. Behind closed doors, the relevant departments were working hard to analyse our offensive and defensive, and the draft will be robust and sensible. The second option," Dr. Dzerzewska wrote, "is that the draft will be a desktop exercise written by someone who has seen other FTAs and generally gets the structure. It will be based on the government's political ideology and the general gist of it will be we want everything and concede on nothing." She noted, in that case, it will be rejected by Brussels before the next round starts. Dead on arrival, like so many previous UK proposals. But it could make for a good EU as being difficult headline.